Tyler Robinson, the accused shooter of our friend Charlie. And he had a hearing on Monday. First of all, he was appointed some very seriously experienced defense attorneys. He's got some real lawyers representing him, including Michael Burt now of San Francisco, Richard Novak of Pasadena. One of them, I think it was, Michael? I think it's Michael Burt, represented Lyle Menendez at his first trial in 1993. Then the other guy had, it's still Michael Burt, has 47 years of trial experience. Novak's been practicing law since 1990 with a focus on criminal defense for the past 20 years. He's worked on more than 24 capital cases. So these are real lawyers. And they're joining a woman who already represented him. And what they said at this last hearing was, could we have some more time to review the large amount of evidence in this case before deciding whether we want a preliminary hearing? A preliminary hearing would determine if there is enough evidence to hold this case over to trial. I don't think there's any question, right? Yeah. Defendants can waive that if they want to, but it seems like one of the newly appointed lawyers, her name is Catherine Nestor, said they did not intend. They did not intend to waive it. So what's really happening here is they ask for a delay on this decision, Mark.
I'll tell you. Well, first, they want to get all of the evidence so that they can use that to possibly cross-examine the witnesses. But it's just discovery. It's trying to find out more for them. Unless you add David Copperfield to the team, it's not going to change anything. There's overwhelming evidence. The only question is whether he's going to live or die. Is he going to get life or is he going to get death? And they're bringing in these folks to help increase the chances that he'll get life. And I actually see that as a viable possibility. And this is just a prediction. You've got to get 12 people. The jury has to be unanimous in Utah. All must say he should die. It only takes one person to say, well, you know what, his life will be worse in prison. I'm going to let him live. Or you know what, he's got no priors and it wasn't especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel in my mind, so I'm going to let him live. It takes one person, and that means you go through all of this for naught. Also, you add to that a plea of guilty, which guarantees a waiver of appeal, puts this to bed, he stays in prison for the rest of his life, and then maybe they'll get him in prison. The question is, will Charlie Kirk's widow be open-minded enough to go along with that? Because that is very persuasive.
She's already said, I'm going to let the lawyers figure this out. She's already said she just doesn't want this on her moral scorecard.
I know. However, she actually has an elevated thought process in that she did forgive him publicly. And I know that was more for her. But when the prosecutors come over to her and say, listen, we're considering guaranteeing the life sentence, and then there's no issues on appeal, we don't ever have to come back here and do it again. If God forbid,
there are no issues. Like this is just
technicalities, like Megyn, they screw up the jury selection.
This is just like Kohlberger, Arthur. They have got Tyler Robinson dead to rights. They've got the text messages. They've got the
Megyn,
gun that was his grandfather's, which the bullets matched the bullet that was used on
Arthur,
Charlie.
Explain how these cases come back on appeal all the time. You got to redo it over.
So Mark is correct. A lot of these cases do come back on appeal, but Megyn, that's why the judges assign lawyers like the ones assigned here who are known to be excellent lawyers. My dad was one of those. He was assigned by a federal judge. I want you to try this horrible, horrible case because I don't want it coming back on appeal. I know they got this guy dead to rights. That's fine. But if some lawyer who doesn't know what he's doing messes something up so badly that the guy's constitutional rights were just trampled on, an appeals court may be like, look, we know he's guilty, but you guys didn't find him guilty the right way, so we have to do it over again. So that's where these cases get screwed up.
Whiff of violation of his rights. Nothing so far. And by the way, he confessed. That's how we know it was him. He went to his parents and said, it was me. We have in writing to his trans furry lover, it was
Megyn,
me.
We don't
it was
disagree
me.
with you.
It was me.
Megyn, listen.
It's the process. It's
Arthur,
the process.
let me jump in
not
here.
The evidence.
Yeah, we're not. It's the process. It's exactly what Arthur just said. We are both. I'm not going to speak for Arthur. I will say there is a mountain of evidence. He admitted it. I read the confession to his roommate lover. I got it. They can prove this case beyond all doubt. I have no doubt. However, when you bring in the top guns and they challenge every little thing, not just pre-trial, but during the trial, all it takes is one mistake for years down the road, this to come back on appeal, assuming you can get all 12 to agree to a unanimous verdict. That's why it's appealing sometimes for prosecutors.
I know what you're saying. I get
close it out to a life sentence. We learned that in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas
I think they're under too much pressure now. They know how the public reacted when Brian Kohlberger, who they also had dead to rights in Idaho, was given basically a commutation from the death penalty to life in prison, because we knew he was going to be found guilty at trial, and we knew that he'd get death in Idaho. And you've already had Spencer Cox, the governor of Utah, say, I want to remind everybody that we have the death penalty in Utah. His first reaction, the top official in the state, then they caught the guy, then they said, we are going for death. Like, nothing has happened to mitigate that at all. And they have confessions. They have the weapon. They have the bullets, the bullet casings, the writings about his bullets and his bullet casings to the lover, the parents to whom he confessed, the neighborhood priest or whatever that guy was, the sort of a youth minister to whom he confessed. It's done. I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think they should take a plea. I think they should try the case if they have to. It should be a death penalty case.
I'm just saying it's very likely that is certainly the purpose of the defense.
Go ahead, Arthur.
That's what they're going to do.
I was just wondering, and maybe they don't have all the elements that they have in the Luigi Mangione case, but how come the feds, who obviously are personally involved here, right? President Trump, love Charlie Kirk. How come the feds haven't dropped an indictment on him the way they did here in Luigi? Luigi, they said, he stalked him from state to state. Charlie Kirk was in a different state every 15 minutes. I'm sure they could thread that needle in an indictment to come after him federally as well. I think the feds were worried
in Luigi that the New York lame prosecutors weren't going to handle this well. And I don't think the federal prosecutors have that concern about Utah. So far, Utah's doing what it needs to do to proceed with an aggressive prosecution against him. So I have no doubt that if they get a different signal, they will find a way, that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel will take another fresh look at this case and find a way of getting him. Did you know gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation. That is reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, you're missing the boat. Here are the facts. Inflation, still too high. The U.S. dollar, still too weak. And the government debt is still growing. This is why central banks are flocking to gold. They're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group and get in the door right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. You don't pay a dime out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit. There's no obligation. There's just useful information. The best indicator of the future is the past, and in this case, the present. Gold has historically been a safe haven, and it's doing gangbusters right now. So text MK to 989898 right now to claim your free info kit on gold. Text MK to 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.